Life has a way of unraveling when you least expect it. One day, everything feels stable. You have routines, plans, expectations, and the next, a storm comes and sweeps it all away. It might be the loss of a job you depended on, the end of a relationship you trusted, an unexpected illness, or the sudden shattering of dreams you thought were secure. In those moments, it feels as though the ground beneath you has given way, and the panic rises before you even know how to respond. Staying calm when everything falls apart can seem impossible. And yet, the Stoics believed it is, in these moments more than any other, that calmness is not just possible, but essential. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled an empire while surrounded by wars, betrayals, and plagues, reminded himself each day that life would not unfold according to his wishes. He wrote in his meditations that you cannot control what happens, only how you meet it. The Stoics knew that chaos is inevitable, but panic is optional. When everything falls apart, the one thing you still carry is your ability to remain steady inside yourself. And this is not a skill reserved for philosophers or emperors. It is something you can practice right now, in the middle of your own storms. The first truth is simple but difficult. The external world is not yours to control. Most of our suffering in crisis comes from fighting this reality. A plan changes, and we rage against it. A person disappoints us, and we feel betrayed. Life moves in directions we did not design, and we insist it should have followed our script. But the Stoics remind us that life owes us no script. The world will act as it does, indifferent to our preferences. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when you distinguish between what is within your control and what is not. You cannot control the storm, but you can control the sailor's mind. You cannot stop events from collapsing, but you can stop yourself from collapsing with them. This is easier said than done, of course. When you lose something you depended on, the natural response is fear, grief, or anger. The Stoics did not deny this. They did not tell us to feel nothing. Marcus Aurelius admitted his pain. Seneca admitted his grief. Epictetus admitted his hardships. But they all taught the same principle. Do not let the storm outside decide the state of your soul inside. You can acknowledge the pain, feel it fully, and still stand. Calmness is not the absence of emotion. It is the refusal to be ruled by it. Think of how often panic makes things worse. You lose your job, and instead of calmly assessing your next step, you let fear paralyze you. A relationship ends, and instead of grieving with dignity, you cling, you lash out, you spiral. An unexpected crisis arrives, and instead of preparing wisely, you collapse into despair. The Stoics believed calmness is not just a virtue, it is a tool for survival. A mind in panic cannot think clearly, cannot choose wisely, cannot endure steadily. Calmness, on the other hand, creates space. It allows you to breathe, to step back, to remind yourself, the event is not in my control, but my response always is. Seneca once wrote that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. When things fall apart, notice how quickly the mind spins into stories. You don't just lose one opportunity, you imagine you'll never find another. You don't just face one setback, you imagine your entire life is ruined. You don't just feel pain in this moment, you imagine it will last forever. The suffering multiplies not because of reality, but because of your imagination. Calmness means pausing this cycle, refusing to add unnecessary weight to an already heavy burden. When you say to yourself, "This is difficult, but it is not the end," you cut suffering in half. The Stoics also practiced a discipline called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would imagine, each morning, the losses and struggles that could come. Not to live in fear, but to live in readiness. If you expect that life will at times fall apart, you are less shocked when it does. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Today I will meet with betrayal, ingratitude, loss, and pain. By expecting it, he robbed these hardships of their power to overwhelm him. You cannot stay calm if you believe life owes you uninterrupted ease. But if you accept that hardship is part of the design, then when it comes, you can meet it as an old acquaintance, not an enemy. Think of a building struck by an earthquake. If its foundation is weak, it crumbles. If its foundation is strong, it shakes, but it stands. Calmness is your foundation. Without it, the tremors of life will shatter you. With it, you may bend, but you do not break. And calmness is not built in a single day. It is the product of daily training, pausing when anger rises, breathing when fear grows, detaching when desire pulls too strongly. Every small act of self-control lays another stone in your foundation, preparing you for the bigger quakes. One of the most powerful ways to remain calm when everything falls apart is to remember that you have endured before. Think back to the moments in your life when you thought you could not continue. A heartbreak, a loss, a failure. And yet, here you are. You did not shatter. You carried the weight, maybe scarred but still standing. That memory is proof that you are stronger than you believe. Marcus Aurelius told himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The strength is already inside you. Calmness is remembering that truth in the moments you are tempted to forget. Calmness also comes from focusing on the present. When things collapse, the mind wants to race into the future. What will happen to me now? How will I survive? What if it only gets worse? But the Stoics pulled their attention back to the moment at hand. The present is always manageable. The future is imagination. Epictetus advised his students to say in each moment, "You are but an impression, and not at all the thing you appear to be." In other words, do not let the mind run away with shadows of the future. Anchor yourself in the now. You may not know how you'll survive next year, but you can choose how to breathe, think, and act in this very hour. Another key lies in detaching your identity from outcomes. The Stoics warned against tying your peace to external success. If you tell yourself, "I am only whole if my plans succeed, if others approve, if fortune favors me," then the moment those things collapse, so does your sense of self. But if you tie your identity to your character, to your patience, your courage, your integrity, then even when the external world falls apart, you remain whole. Outcomes may come and go, but your virtue remains yours to protect. That is the heart of Stoic calm. The ability to remain yourself, even when the world changes around you. It is also worth remembering that calmness is contagious. In a storm, the panicked crew endangers the whole ship, but the steady captain keeps everyone afloat. In your own life, when everything falls apart, your calmness does not just save you, it steadies those around you. A family looks to you, a friend looks to you, a community looks to you. By choosing calmness, you become the anchor in their storm, the reminder that not all is lost, that endurance is still possible. None of this means calmness is easy. It is a discipline, a lifelong practice. You will fail at times. You will panic, you will fear, you will lose your balance. But each time you return to calmness, you grow stronger. Each time you pause instead of exploding, breathe instead of despairing, endure instead of collapsing, you train your soul to remain steady. Slowly, calmness becomes less of a choice and more of a habit. And when life falls apart again, and it will, you are not shattered. You are tested, but you remain. So how do you begin? The next time you feel panic rising, pause. Ask yourself, is this in my control? If yes, act with clarity. If no, let it go. Remind yourself of past endurance. You have survived before, and you can survive again. Pull your mind back from the imagined future to the present task. Anchor your peace not in outcomes, but in virtue. And above all, breathe. Each breath is proof that you are still here, still capable of calmness, still able to stand in the storm. And if you've listened this far, I want to leave you with a challenge. This week, when something falls apart in your life, whether small or large, practice calmness. Instead of reacting with panic, pause. Instead of letting imagination spiral, return to the present. Instead of tying your peace to outcomes, tie it to your character. Try this once, then again, then daily. Watch how it transforms not only the way you endure hardship, but the way you live every ordinary day. If this message has spoken to you, I invite you to subscribe and join this journey. Each week we explore Stoic wisdom not as ancient words carved in stone, but as living practices for modern life. Share your story in the comments. What is one time you stayed calm when everything fell apart? And what did you learn from it? Or what is one area of your life right now where you need more calmness? Your words might inspire someone else to keep going. And share this video with a friend who is struggling. They may need the reminder that even in the storm, peace is possible.